Welcome to the Camunda Platform 8 Code Studio. This session is originally a workshop where we interactively would chat together, but I thought it might be a great idea to also give you some video material in order to help you get started and to complete this workshop in an asynchronous fashion. So during this kind of event, or during this video, I will try to have a little series to guide you about how to really apply Camunda Platform 8 and how to get started with that tool. Let me quickly introduce myself and my colleague Josh. We both created this workshop. We both are developer advocates. He's based in New Zealand. I'm from Germany in Augsburg, and I'm happy to host this session for you. To continue, let's set the scene because I want to also give you a rough overview about the agenda. And that will for sure look a bit differently when we do this in this video kind of format. So of course I will also welcome you, introduce myself, and then we are going to quickly elaborate about what is Camunda Platform 8 actually. I think that will be contained in the first video, and afterwards we'll then try to design a process in Camunda 8's web modeler, and we're also going to deploy this. Later on, we are then going to discover Camunda 8. I will tell you a bit about how you can create a cluster in there, what's needed in order to, for instance, access, operate, optimize, how you can create API credentials, so on and so forth. And this will also be contained in a separate video, of course. Having done so, we are then going to take a more detailed look on user tasks. So we try to create first a draft of our process, only having these user tasks and forms. Last but not least, so now the fourth part of the video series will be about automating the process by implementing a client. We do have different languages, so I will show you how you can do this in Spring Boot, Node.js and .NET. I think maybe we do have 3 separate ones, but basically if you only want to know about how you can do this in one language, you can only watch one video about this. Last but not least, we do have the tool Optimize, where we can take a look at in order to analyze our processes, and that will be also contained in a separate video together with the conclusion. So this series will contain quite a lot of parts and little episodes. So hopefully you can enjoy this, and by structuring this or splitting up the video in smaller parts, you can navigate better around. So that's my intention right here. Let me know in the comments if you do have any further question about something, if you want to have something more specified. I'm happy to jump on a chat with you to help you out there and to respond as quick as I can. So to start off with, I also have a little slide about some useful links. I will share them in the video description as well. And first of all, that's going to be the GitHub repository for the Camunda 8 Code Studio. So you can access this GitHub repository, and I will show you later on as well, because all the information about this workshop is contained in there as well. So if you wonder about, hey, where do I can find the exercises, example code and solutions, that's the repository to go to. And of course, the documentation is also a very good place to visit. As usual, because there all the information can be found, and make sure that you are specifically looking at the Camunda 8 documentation. If you want to check out the slides, I will also put a link to the slides in the read-only view down in the video description below. And of course, if you haven't signed up for Camunda Platform 8 yet, there's a free trial for 30 days, so please do so. There's the link, going to put it down below, and feel free to check it out. It's definitely for sure very useful. Great. Now let's continue with our expectations for this workshop. What do I want to show you? What do I want to talk to you about? And there are, I think, 4 key areas, at least the ones I really could select or could drill down. And first of all, of course, you will learn to apply modeling standards. You will learn a bit how to use BPMN. We also have an example about DMN for decisions, so you know how to model business processes in a flexible way by using both decision and processes. We also will then go over kind of implementation techniques for service tasks, what's good to know, how you can really make the best out of them, so on and so forth. you get started with Camunda 8, of course, so you get some hands-on experience. You will learn about the products and all the cool tips and tricks. For instance, we also go over connectors, etc. And last but not least, and most importantly, you will save the world by designing and automating a process for a very important use case. And talking about use cases, let's chat about the one for this session, because that's for sure quite an interesting one. Because we are talking about a hypothetical zombie virus, which strikes again. So COVID was a long time ago, we don't deal with that. But of course, the government, usually they aren't that fast. So still the quarantine process isn't up to speed yet. And of course, having such a very dangerous virus spreading around, quarantine is very important, because otherwise the world just will go down. So time's crucial, and we need to manage to save the world by helping out the health department with some cool process automation. Because at least in Germany, that's a big deal. Our government, I think they still use Excel sheets in order to collect data about persons which are infected with COVID. And for sure, this doesn't change in the future. So we want to help them out to really keep the world alive. So, having set the scene, I'm now also going to elaborate about, hey, what's Camunda Platform 8? What is Camunda? So you do have a better idea about, what's the product like? What's the company like if you haven't heard about us? So that's maybe also beneficial for you to be aware of. So to get started, we've been around since 2008, so quite a while by now. We do have over 300 employees, a lot of community members, so hopefully, or by watching this video, I can count on you as a community member, which is great. And we do have worldwide presence and offices, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, we do have a lot of enterprise customers, because somehow we need to earn money. And we do have, a lot of countries in which Camunda is a big deal. So that's cool to see. And just some while ago, we released our latest product, which is Camunda Platform 8, which is now supporting the cloud, or is running cloud natively on the cloud, and is a distributed workflow engine. That's worth mentioning as well. So that has kind of changed in this year, and is a dramatic change. That's probably why you are also interested in watching this video. So let's continue, because I do have a few other things to share with you. For instance, common use cases for Camunda if you aren't aware of how you can apply process automation. And there are basically 3 pillars for those use cases. First one is all about IT initiatives. So for instance, if you want to build a centralized process automation platform, replace legacy business process management systems, or move applications to the cloud and have a BPM or business process management workflow engine in there as well. Besides, there are of course also some pure technical use cases. For instance, automating human workflows or microservice orchestration. That is seen pretty often in Camunda Platform 8 especially. But you can do a lot more, like decision automation, RPA bot orchestration, etc. Last but not least, it's all about business processes. So depending on the domain you're working in, you're facing, for instance, processes around order management, claims management, or customer onboarding. And to capture these, to orchestrate these, of course, you need to make use of business processes, or you can make use of business processes to make it a bit smoother and to gain some benefits by doing so. So that should set the scene where you can really apply Camunda. And for sure, our HZV process, Hypothetical Zombie Virus process, for the health department to manage the quarantine definitively falls into the business processes right there. Great, let's continue. And there I want to just quickly give you an idea about what's the vision behind Camunda. That's usually captured as orchestrate anything. But that's not all about the orchestration. You can see like we try to provide business processes and process automation, a workflow engine, which captures endpoints like human workers, AI components, business rules, IoT devices, microservices, so on and so forth. So we really want you to be able to orchestrate anything and without any limits. But there are, of course, some other things we need to keep in mind. For instance, code and deployment technologies, and we really want you to be free there. So you can either do this in Java, C#, Python, continuing. So plenty of choices, and to run your application you can either do this on Kubernetes, on our SaaS, via Docker, or on your own premises. So limits are not set there. Great. So now taking a more in-depth look on what Camunda Platform 7 was, so the previous product, because I really want you to understand what kind of differs there. So Camunda Platform 7 did feature design and automation components, and mostly there is a change in those two, because Optimize is also available in Camunda Platform 8. So back in the days we had this workflow engine, which was kind of centralized. It used a relational database, which especially in higher workload scenarios was always kind of the bottleneck. And we wanted to change this and to bring out a new kind of iteration of workflow engine, which is way more scalable and solve the problems of the old one. And that's where we came up with Camunda Platform 8, the universal process orchestrator. There, as you can see, we do have a modeler inside of the web. We are going to support connectors, out-of-the-box connectors. There are integration frameworks and so-called forms, which make it easier to create user tasks. And afterwards, we do have, of course, our key new process engine called ZB, which is distributed and cloud native, which unlocks parallel speed, scale, and resilience. Back in Camunda 7, let's quickly jump one slide back, you can see we had Cockpit and Task List. And those two tools has been replaced with Task List, obviously, and Operate instead of Cockpit. And Operate simply provides some real-time visibility similar to Cockpit for you to simply resolve problems with any process instance. So it's pretty good for process operators or general operators who want to make sure that the key business processes keep running. And last but not least, we do have Optimize in our stack, which is used for insights on data from the business processes. So whenever you run into some bottlenecks, for instance, you can use Optimize to figure them out and to improve these iteratively. And of course, as you do see, the design, automation, and improvement phase align perfectly with the business automation lifecycle, if you ever have heard of that. And that's perfectly fine, because as you might have already now figured out, it's kind of an iterative process here. You don't define a BPMN process only once, you try to refine this one iteratively. Cool. There are a few other things about the Camunda Advantage. I want to keep it short right here. I think what's worth mentioning is that we try to establish an open architecture, that you do have the freedom to add your own connectors, to do the stuff you really want. We try to enable developers, because we build things that, like, even though there might be some low-code components, developer friendliness is even more important, because at a certain stage while creating business processes, you want to get an advantage in contrast to your competition, and that can be only done with development, with development only you are doing. And of course, everything is standard based. So DMN and BPMN, the standards for decisions and business processes, are open. So there isn't any vendor login, which is great. And now, last but not least, to just give you an overview about all the customers which work with us, which we do have. Like they are distributed over a bunch of industries. So it's not only one sector we are very tightly working with, it's like all over the place, because usually every company has some kind of business processes. So that's already it. That's kind of the introduction for Camunda, or for this code studio for Camunda Platform 8. and hopefully you'll stick to this video series. And next up, we are going to simply design some processes and decision according to our hypothetical zombie virus use case. So stay tuned. The hands-on part is following in the next video. Thanks for watching and see you soon.